I want to talk about using Craigslist to get um, verified, claimed um, business listings on the map in Google Maps. And this is something I've talked about before, but I have not talked about it recently, even though we have used it quite recently. And I want to talk about our exact method that we've used successfully and let you know how to do that, okay? Now, what I'm talking about here is when you are doing a search for something on Google Maps. This is just a real brief overview just so you know what we're targeting here. I'll show you one of my favorite restaurants. Okay, this is the most down-home Mexican little place you've ever seen. Love this place. If you see here, it says suggest and edit own this business. That means this is not a verified claimed listing. Okay, we've talked about this in other videos in the members area. I'm not talking about creating a listing like this. I'm talking about creating a listing where it is claimed like this. And this is the big challenge nowadays because phone verification is increasingly difficult, if not impossible. There are ways to do it. Obviously, I've posted on my blog that I have done it, but it's not a huge accessible strategy for people, and it's not one that I teach in the members area because it's kind of a higher level one. But you can see here, this would be a verified listing, a claimed listing, because it's not, there's nowhere you can claim this business because someone already claimed it and is controlling it. That's what we're trying to talk about, is this, creating a listing like this. The reason why this is powerful and valuable is because it's a huge ranking factor. A lot of times, if you've got a whole bunch of businesses in a market, and sometimes it's so clear that you will see all the claimed ones on top, and then under that, all the unclaimed ones. And it makes sense. Again, remember, Google's looking for verified information that they know is true, that they could trust. So if they're going to rank you high, they want to make sure that you exist as a business. And what better way than to have it actually be claimed and controlled by you? So how can you get these claimed listings? One of the methods that we've used is using Craigslist. Okay. And I'm going to make a little diagram for you here. Okay, we start with Craigslist. All right. Then we go to a Craigslist ad. The Craigslist ad, what it does is it asks people, and this is really important, it asks people to receive a postcard for you. And you're going to have to test out different ways that you can do this, but if you look on Craigslist under gigs, you will see usually you will see some gigs that are doing something like this, okay? And a lot of times it's like a work from home, so you don't want to actually say receive a postcard. Okay, you don't want to actually say receive a postcard for us. What you want to do is you want to say work from home opportunity. Okay, and you want it to be like a marketing position, part-time. This is the type of language you're going to have to test out different. I'm not going to give you my exact ad copy, but if you advertise a work from home opportunity where you have a marketing position available, work from home, again, you might want to say social media manager, something like that, managing social media pages for my business, something like that. That is what's going to get you your answers. And the social media profile that they're going to manage for you is your Google Maps listing. Okay? So again, you're going to put Craigslist ads in, and there are a bunch of great providers that can mass post for you on Craigslist. I highly encourage you, do some tests in your local area, and once you get your ad copy that works, then hire someone to do it, to scale it out for you nationwide. It's going to work a lot better to rely on a Craigslist posting expert than trying to do it yourself. If you don't know who to use for that, for Craigslist mass posting, you can post in the thread below, and I can give you some of my recommendations. I'm not going to talk about it in the video because I know that's the type of information that can go out of date rather quickly. Yeah, and it's true, you don't want to use the word use your address or anything like that. Okay, that's going to be a side thing. You're not going to make that prominently featured in your ad. You want to mainly just say this is a marketing assistant position managing some kind of a social media thing, work from home opportunity. That's what you're going to focus on. So you've got your Craigslist ads. Now, here's the key. You want them to, and this is what we found that works great, okay? Instead of a link in the ad, what we have is we have them email us, okay? And this is really important because when you've got them emailing you, you automatically have their contact information, okay? This is really important. You don't, if you have them click on a link, it's going to be easy to get the that link. First of all, it's going to be easy to get that link banned, so it's going to be more difficult to mass post on Craigslist because you're going to have to like use a redirect and stuff on your actual link. So it's better if you just have them email you, because then they're just emailing, you know, whatever the mass-produced email addresses that your Craigslist poster creates for you. And what you do is you install on that email an autoresponder. Okay? You gotta excuse my janky kind of a diagram here. Doing this on Google Draw. And I'm not talking about an autoresponder like a Weber. I'm talking about an autoresponder that is usually built into your email. Like if you have any kind of email service, your email service a lot of times will let you set up an autoresponder email address. It just sends one reply. So if someone emails that address, they get a reply. And the reason why you're doing this is because you want this to seem like they're emailing a person and that they're getting a reply from an actual person, okay? That's why you're going to do this. And we've done this. I've tested a lot of different configurations, and this is what works best. Now, the autoresponder basically says, thank you for applying for this position. Please fill out our online application with your information. All right? And we will have someone contact you from our hiring department. All right? That's what the autoresponder says. So again, the autoresponder just sends out one email. Okay? It doesn't send out, it's not an autoresponder sequence. It just sends out one email. Now, what happens then is the autoresponder email has a link in it, which is the application for the job. And what that is basically an online form that is built to look like a job application, okay? And I've actually used Google Forms for this, which is great because Google Forms will create a form for you. It'll create a nice looking page for you, and then that page you can actually have all that data be entered into a spreadsheet. And then what we do is that I have an outsourcer who is monitoring that spreadsheet and just replying to people. And that way you can outsource the whole thing, and Google can host all the data for you. You can share the Google Docs spreadsheet all around. The form is really easy to set up. You don't have to know any kind of HTML or anything. It's real simple, and it's a great technique to automate this whole thing and outsource the whole thing. So then you have an outsourcer who is replying with just templates to all of these emails, basically. Getting a little ahead of myself, but that's why that's why we use Google Forms, because it's a simple way to just set up a quick online form. Again, if you're not a developer, you can set it up quickly, and that form will automatically post all the information to a Google spreadsheet, which can easily be shared with your outsourcers, and etc. So that's why we like that. But again, so the online form is meant to look like an application for a job. All right. Now, once they fill out that information, you want to get their address, you want to get their email address, and what you're checking for is where is their address. Because just because they're on, say, in Chicago, they might be answering an ad for you from the Chicago Craigslist, but that doesn't mean that they live in Chicago. So if you're going for the big cities, then you might want to ignore anyone who doesn't live in the big city of Chicago, because your listing's not going to rank in that big city. If they're in a small town outside the city or something, that isn't going to rank. Because remember, they're going to be receiving a postcard at their address, and that is, they're going to be receiving it at their address, and so the actual address where it's located is going to be where it's going to rank in that city. So that's why you want them to fill out in their online form, you want them to fill out in the spreadsheet their actual address. Now, it's true these are going to be residential addresses, so this is a solution we have found. Obviously, it's better if you don't have a residential address, but we have still found this to work despite it being someone's home. I've also done ads where I specifically asked for people that lived above a storefront, or people that lived in or near some kind of a mixed zoning area. And that's a way that you can actually get commercial and industrial looking street views. You know, if a Google rep is looking, they'll be looking at a street view that looks kind of industrial or mixed zoning, and that can be a good way to fix the solution of a residential address. But you're not going to get as many responses. You're going to get a lot more responses if you just use anyone's address, even if they are a home. And those listings, depending on how spammy the niche is, if the niche is not too spammy, those listings can last for a really long time. We've done it in really spammy niches, and that makes the listings not last quite as long if they're in a residential area. So that's something you'll have to test. Again, if you look only for a certain type of address, like an industrial address or someone who lives above a store or something like that, you're not going to get as many responses. And so it just depends on if you're going quantity over quality or what you're going for there. So after they fill out the online form, then you have your outsourcer, or you, but I would encourage you to outsource this. You have them reply and say, we'd like to hire you. And then you're going to give them instructions. And basically what you're going to get them to do is you're going to get them to set up the entire Google Maps listing for you. So we set up a video. It's an instructional video that shows all the steps for setting up a Google Maps listing and for receiving the postcard and entering the PIN. And I tried to downplay the fact that we're using their address. What I usually try to say in the video is, hey, Google just needs to confirm that this is real, this is a real business, and before they let anyone set up a social media profile on Maps, again, remember this is a social media profile position, social media manager position, marketing manager position. Before they let you set up any kind of a marketing profile on Google Maps, they need to send out this verification thing. They'll send it out to your address. And again, you're going to say, we're not going to show your address publicly at all, because during the instructional video, you tell them to check the box that says, I'm a service area business, hide my address. And that way, there's no risk to them to show their address publicly, and you can literally say to them, hey, your address is not going to be shown. This is just a verification postcard that Google needs to verify before they'll let anyone set up a profile like this. And so right there in that reply email, you say, we'd like to hire you, and you link to the instructional video with the instructions for setting up the maps thing, for getting the postcard and entering the PIN. And then you tell them, I'll send you your first payment after you verify with the postcard that Google sends you. And if you're outsourcing this, the nice thing is you can have your outsourcer track everything in that spreadsheet. You know, remember the form originally is posting all this information from your job application online form to a Google spreadsheet. And you can have your outsourcer track everything for you, which is what we did. We had a Filipino girl running the whole thing, and she would track everything in a spreadsheet. Like, you know, have they mentioned that they received the postcard yet? Did I send a reply that said we'd like to hire them yet? Did they enter their PIN yet? And then sometimes we even had further steps where we had them also uploading photos and things like that. Those could all be documented in the spreadsheet. So for each listing and for each person, you have them filling out that information and tracking the whole process. And this can work really well, and you can scale it to hundreds. I mean, we've done hundreds of listings this way, and completely hands-off. Once I set up the system, you can see here, I mean, the Craigslist posts were posted by a service. The email was an autoresponder. Then my Filipino outsourcer was replying with the instructional video, and she was tracking the process in the spreadsheet of when they entered the PINs and everything. And the instructional video was completely automated as well. And so the whole thing runs and scales for you, automated, without you needing to lift a finger, and your online network of Google Maps listings just grows and grows without you lifting a finger. It can be run part-time by an outsourcer. Again, they have to be a little bit sharp because they have to reply to emails and answer questions. But we had a girl in the Philippines doing it for us for a long time, and she managed the whole thing, and we didn't have to touch it at all. Folks, get out there and do this. This is a powerful, powerful technique that we have personally been using. Again, some of our main niches were niches that are highly watched by Google, so we ended up not doing this process for those niches. But this is something we did for many, many, many months, and it continues to work for others. Again, if you go on Craigslist, you're going to see other people doing it. You can even go on there just to get ad copy that looks like it's working. And a lot of times you'll see an ad like this. It says like online marketer, 150 a day in the comfort of your own home. If you look down, you'll see I'm trying to see if I can find an ad just spur the moment that would show you this. But you'll see if you go down in your city or the closest big city to you, you'll see some of these ads that are out there. People still doing this technique. So get out there, execute it.